Make no mistake, this story is about money and the millions of dollars our cash-strapped region didn't pursue. But more important than money are the lives that have been affected by a system everyone agrees is broken.
She was abducted out of her own bed, taken away from home, down the street, and abused.
It's been more than 3 years since Karen Washington's 11-year-old daughter was kidnapped from her Detroit home and raped. But the wounds from that night in 2007 are still raw.
I look around when I'm out in the street, looking for him myself, you know, and it's sad that I have to do that.
Sad because for more than 3 years, the man charged with the crimes has still not gone to trial. The bail bonds company that was responsible for making sure Corey Gaston showed up to court never knew to look for him after he went on the run. They didn't know because Wayne County's Third Circuit Court never told them.
He gave them money, he promised to come back. Promised to come back to court when it was court time. He was nowhere to be found.
Last month, the Action News investigators showed you how for decades, Michigan's largest courts haven't notified bond companies to look for the accused criminals they post bond for once they skip out on court. It's delayed justice for thousands of crime victims, and for taxpayers, it's meant millions in lost revenue. In February, we told you almost $65 million in potentially forfeited bond was never pursued. Now, new data we've obtained shows the number is even higher. All told, almost $90 million. Much still needs to be done to fix today's broken bond system, but much has already improved since we exposed the problem. 36th District Court Chief Judge Marilyn Atkins tells Action News that since her court has started sending out letters like these, telling defendants to show up or pay the court their bond, virtually every defendant who's skipped out has turned themselves in.
I am going to enter a judgment against the surety for the full amount.
As a result of our report, Wayne County's Circuit Court is finally holding hearings for defendants who failed to appear. Beginning April 29th, Judge Michael Hathaway will be assigned to holding show cause hearings every Friday to find out why defendants did not show up for court. If they don't have a good reason or can't be found, the court may collect their bond money from companies responsible for guaranteeing their appearance. But what about all those cases where a bond company wasn't used? After all, most defendants put up their bond on their own or through a family member. Last week, Judge Timothy Kenny, along with Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy's Chief of Staff and the county's Director of Corporation Counsel, met to discuss just how much of the $90 million is possible to collect. Judge Kenny tells us a plan is still in the works. As for Corey Gaston, officials with UWalk Bail Bonds tell Action News in a statement that they continue to, quote, work diligently and do everything in our power to locate and arrest Mr. Gaston, stressing that courts need to realize the importance of prompt bail bond forfeiture notice. Details of their search are confidential, as company officials don't want to tip Gaston off to where they're looking. The next hearing in that case isn't until May. If they can't find Gaston by then, the bond company may be on the hook for his $250,000 bond.
The courts didn't notify the bondsman that he had disappeared, that he didn't show up in court. So if they had did that, then that means they would have been on the case. Maybe he wouldn't have been gone for 3 years. Maybe he would have been in that day if they only had did their job.
Officials at Wayne County's Circuit Court are still coming up with a plan to go after the millions in uncollected bond money. They hope to know next week how much of that money they'll actually be able to pursue. I'm Heather Catallo, Channel 7 Action News.
Thank you, Heather. And by the way, this is where you can help. If you've seen that Corey Gaston, please call the U.S. Marshals. Their phone number is 800-336-0102.